And I haven't even started talking yet. You're earlier than I am, almost. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure. I'm still new to this stuff. Sometimes don't know my backside from a hole in the ground, if you know what I mean. Hey, I have a population of 10. I don't have any mods. Played yesterday. World age is 5 days. All right, cool deal. Just wanted to see what that had to say. Now, as far as being early, I've taken my pills. I'm on my second cup of coffee. I've already emptied out a crock pot that was full of chicken. It's been a busy morning. When a sapien discovers a new technology, they become skilled in it. It will automatically be assigned a role allowing them to complete tasks relating to that skill. Sapiens will automatically be assigned to roles sometimes too, unless you turn auto assignment off. You can also assign roles to Sapiens manually. This can help you keep everyone busier and allow you to focus on the tribe specific task. Okie dokie. Craft 4 stone knife should still be going on. See if we can fast forward through this rain. Holy moly. They sure are cute when they're running, though. I see somebody back behind that building that's having a thought. Ants, yes. What about uncles? Is the lag a little less today? When I was scheduling this, there's a setting you have to click to get the lag to be less. I have to admit, I wish the building situation was kind of more in a straight line. Um, because I don't wish I had a half of a house. I wish I had a whole shelter, I guess. But it's okay. That's the way the game works. You're not going to.
Missona ala. Pinapiling si me? Pona. Mesona alla. Mesona alla etan.
Pamea pona.
Oweka.
Nisona. Mipilin pona.
Ran out of coffee. That's a court-martial offense in this house.
Sinapona ala pona.
Mipilin pona.
Mipilin pona.
Sina wika tawa me.
Mesona.
No, I don't
Sina
want
pona
it.
alla pona.
I
Sina
see
sona alla
what's
sona.
happening.
Pona. Mipilin pona.
Well,
Sina pilin si me.
I don't want that there.
Pona. Sinapona ala pona.
Mesona alla etan.
Mipilin pona.
Pona.
Nisona ala.
Oweka. Mesona alla.
Nisona.
Sina.
Sinapilin sin. Sinapona ala pona.
Mesona.
That's where I wanted it.
Mesona alla.
Doki.
Yeah, trying to get the roofs on were
Sina sona alla sona. Pilin pona.
kind of tough.
Sina.
Mesona. Sina pilin si me. Mea pona.
All right, got them there.
Mesona.
Sinasona. Alasona.
Pona. Mesona alla.
Uweka.
Mesona alla.
I'm not at all
Mesona
unhappy
alla sona.
with how that turned out.
Sina pilin si me.
Now let me see if I can make a campfire
Mesona alla etan. Sina wicket tawe me.
right there.
Alasona. Isona.
Pilin
Because-
pona.
I don't want that to be closed in.
Mesona alla etan. Oweka e iki me. Mesona.
Nisona ala.
You know, I've read 3 times that you ran out of coffee, and it's just almost shocking to me.
Pilin pona.
Oh, I forgot to ask, how is Deadpool?
Pona. Pamea pona.
Auto-assign the investigation role. Good deal.
Mesona alla.
Not enough light. Add torches or wait. Need a mining tool, a stone pickaxe. We're going to have to go investigate that whole stone pickaxe thing. Let me see if I can build a torch. I stayed in yesterday, grocery run later after hemp. You know, it's weird once you retire and started being concentric. Well, it was more concentric with what was going on around the house and things. I've got 2 or 3 projects going on that I could shut this all down and go put my hands on. But it's one of those things that you get up in the morning when you're retired and go, today's not that day. You know, and my next door neighbor asked me the other day about something I was working on. Do you need for me to go to Lowe's and pick that up for you? And I said, no, it'll bubble to the top of the list, and you know, it'll get done when it gets done. And my sense of time is better as an IT guy. you sometimes didn't have control over that. When something crashed, you jumped through your backside to get it back going. Uh, oh, oh, I'm fast forwarding. Okay, that's okay. I've obviously pressed tab again. Wow, there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. Hmm. Hold it. Cute picture. And now we've got people
Donkey.
moving.
May pilin po na.
Hmm.
Ten persona pona. Uweka. Sina pilin semi. Donkey.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing what you want when you want is about the only person that I let take my time, you know, other than me is my wife. If she says something, I usually try to get right on it. Um, she's been very, very good to me. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have went to college. Oh, heck, we now know how to dig. Excellent. Well, come on. I said to build a stone pickaxe.
Ten persona pona.
May sona ala.
All right, I see how to build the pickaxe head,
Sino wika tawa me.
but I don't know how to build the pickaxe itself.
May pilin po na. May sona.
Sina pun simi.
Sina wikitawe me. Tempo suna po na. May pilin po na.
Toki.
Tempo suna po na. May pilin po na.
I honestly
Persona.
wonder what this language is they're speaking, but
May sona. Siinä wicket tauemme. Siinä sona ala sona?
Yeah, I've got to say, as far as being in pain, I remember getting out of my car while I was working for the state of South Carolina. 48 years old, had just bought this car. Got out and stood up and noticed that my feet were on fire. Not literally. And my hips were hurt. And I was like, oh, that's just weird. Have I done anything that would make my hips hurt? And I didn't know what was going on with my feet. It was just strange. Well, that was the start of neuropathy. And my
Siinä
wife
pilin simi?
rarely demands, of anything. There are times she won't ask for my help, and I'll look at her and go, do you need help? And then she'll take some help. Okay, how do I craft this?
Mokupona. Messona ala. Oveka e ikime. Tempo sunapona.
Mippilenpona.
Messona ala. Messona ala eka.
Mippilenpona.
Mokupona.
The slope is too steep. I knew it would be something. I can honestly say, though, I've been fixing something all of my life. And, to
Tempo sunapona. Pona.
there are some things that it's dawned on me that I can't fix. I can't pick up anything and do anything about it. There are times my wife just wants me to listen to her, and boy, that took a long time to learn.
Siinä sona ala sona?
I'm ashamed to admit.
Sonala.
Pona.
Needs one branch. Hey, the foods. And there's only one. A breakthrough. Tree felling skills. With enough strikes with a hand axe, even the mightiest trees can be taken down. This provides wooden logs which will burn in fires much longer, but perhaps there are other uses too.
Messona ala etan. Messona. Siinä pilin simi? Mokupona. Messona ala?
That's how Amp was doing that. I wondered. I have to admit, I've been watching a few videos about how to play this game, and I was absolutely I was surprised at, well, I'll have something in the queue when it comes time. I was surprised about the things I saw people doing with this game. Um, but what Amp was saying about don't mess with a mastodon is looked absolutely right.
Oveka e ikime.
Well, now
Pona. Toki.
I have a population of
Sinä
10.
sona, älä sona.
Do I have
Pona.
10 beds?
Sinä pilensemi.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Me
6,
sona ala.
7,
Sinä
8.
pona ala pona. Me pilin pona.
I've got 11.
Pilin pona.
Tenetso is drawing your tribe. Hmm.
Weke e ikimi. Sinä pona älä pona.
Sinä pilensemi. Toki.
Sinä wicket tauemme. Sinä sona ala sona. Sona ala.
While I agree with you, it's a learning curve. Why did it
Oh,
take
okay.
so long to get my hard head? And that might be part of the problem. I can't say I'm a little hard-headed. I'm a lot hard-headed. It's the Southern in me, which I can't say that's a good thing or a bad thing. I do have to say that has been auto-assigned thatch building role. Well, get on it, doggone it. That's the only wet flax there is? Wow. And maybe it's where I've set up shop too.
Sinä pona ala pona. Sinä pilin simi. Pona.
You're not wrong about that.
Sona, älä
There are a
sona.
whole lots of folks walking the face of the earth that
Weke.
Me sona.
Sinä pona älä pona.
I can honestly say
Sinä pona ala pona.
I've been a licensed preacher since I was 16. Thus, by the grace of God go I really could have been on the other side of things if you catch my drift. I married a woman that was very compassionate, and I didn't have that in my life. Me and my mother are, I can't say we have a bad relationship, but we just don't have a good relationship. We're just not close.
Sinä sona ala sona.
I was very close to my dad, and it really knocked the air out of me when he passed. But oh my gosh, he was suffering. Uh, my dad passed away of COPD in January 1st of 2015. And, you know, I still have a relationship with my mom, but that's why I live here and she lives there because she looked at me the last time I was home and said we couldn't live together. We'd drive each other nuts. She said it. I didn't. I went, you're right. Uh, so um,
Sina pilin
Sinä
simi.
pilin simi.
Sina sona ala
I'm
sona.
thankful to be aware as I am.
Me pilin pona.
Tenpo suna.
I try every day. I'm unfortunately very biased. And I really have to stop and think and
Sina
go,
sona ala sona. Pona.
don't be that way,
Me sona.
or when you wake up in the morning and your mantra getting out of bed is, don't be an asshole. Works for me most of the time. I can still fall back, and I don't like that. I don't like the person that I am when that happens. All right, we're going to have to figure out how to build a cotton picking pickaxe. This is making me
Me sona.
really crazy.
Me sona ala.
Sona.
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be. Well, I know about missing your dad something fierce. I went in the Air Force because of my dad. I used to follow my dad around like a little puppy dog. I used to sit and watch my
Sona
dad
ala
shave,
sona.
waiting for him to
Sona
get ready
ala.
to go to work. Um, After I went in the military, we always had something to talk about. You know, um, After he passed, I built him a nice shadow box. I figured out which ribbons he had, and went from there. And my dad was a force in my life, and uh, I just, I mean, let's be blunt. My dad was an alcoholic, and uh, I thought he hung the moon. There just wasn't anything better than my dad.
Sinä
And
sona ala sona.
Me pilin pona.
oh, that back wall's done. Hoo hoo. My grandmother, his mom, she
Me
was
sona ala etan.
the best way I know to say it is she was
Me sona
batshit
ala.
crazy, and there just wasn't
Sina
any other
pona,
way to put
ala
it.
pona.
She was different. And, but she always got us up in her arms and told us we were her gold pots and kissed and hugged on us. And my brother didn't like her. Hell, I thought Granny was great. I remember the last time I saw her, she had had a stroke and couldn't talk. But I remember walking into her house and sitting on her couch and talking to her. And I asked her, I said, do you know who I am? And she shook her head. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to tell you that she was kind of around the bend. Um, she told me stories about my grandfather who I didn't know. Just, oh man, my grandfather left my grandmother before World War II with 5 kids, told the Army he didn't have any, and basically said, I'm going in the Army. Well, my grandmother contacted the Army and said, guess what? He's got 5 kids at home. The Army made him pay for those kids. Okay. The funny part about it, years later, I met my first wife's dad on our first or second date. We were standing there in her house, and her dad looked at me and said, do you know Lon Massengill? I said, know him. He's my grandfather. I said, I worked with him at a place in Knoxville that made thermostats. And said he left when World War II started, and I never saw him again. I said, yeah, I can tell you what happened. And it was the most surreal full circle moment I ever had in my life. I was 21 or so, and it was like, yeah, he left his wife and married an Army nurse and moved to Virginia. I overlapped with him. He died in 1966, and I was born in 62. But I don't know that we ever talked on the phone or anything like that. I want to know how to do this. This is making me unhappy. Well, let's go look for food. That'll make me less unhappy. Too much of a slope. Yeah, I wasn't an oops baby. My brother was 3.5 years older than me, and he didn't much like having a little brother. Um, and my brother also died in 2015. Let's say it wasn't a good year. We lost my brother, my father, my mother-in-law, and our first dachshund, Dylan, that year. It was not a good year. That year just sucked all the way around. I keep forgetting to do that one thing that keeps everybody moving. Well, well,
Mokupona. Oweka.
yeah, my mom didn't want more kids. Spent the rest of her life reminding me. Yeah, I get it.
Wile moku iwaso.
Yeah, it was a lot to deal with. We were all over the place that year. Boy, I dipped into my leave a whole lot. I don't know that I ever caught up, and that was 2015, and I quit the state of South Carolina in 2019. It was, yeah, the November previous to that, my brother fell off my parents' roof trying to fix their roof, and he was a builder. He knew what he was doing, and he slipped and broke his leg. And I went up there to see. I called him and said, "Are you okay?" And blah, blah, blah. We were only 6 hours away. While we were talking, he said, "If you want to see your dad alive, you better come see him." And I did. And we talked, and he had a pretty good week. I got in the car and went back home. Got up Monday morning. He had slipped off the end of the bed. This is my dad, and broke his hip, and that was the beginning of the end. He went into the hospital and got his hip fixed. He went to home health and, managed care for a bit. And he was coming back home on the 1st of January to go into hospice. And my mom hates hospice. My wife is a hospice nurse. That we suggested hospice, it was like, oh my God, the world was coming apart for my mother. She actually threw my wife out of the house. She was just mad. And then my dad turned around and the day he was going to go home on hospice, he passed away. And it was probably, I hate to say it was the best thing that could have happened, but it was. I wasn't excited about it, I mean, hell, you say you have that relationship with your dad and that, I miss my dad every day. There's just something that happens that I wish I could pick up the phone and say, hey, this happened, or it's good to hear your voice. But I'm so happy he's not suffering. He was suffering with COPD. His quality of life, he was tethered to an oxygen tank 24/7. It was not good. Let me see if there's a half wall. Hey, that's actually pretty good. Woohoo! Heck, I'm pretty impressed. We got a flame. We got everybody in bed. Yeah, this person is going to bed. What just happened? I heard the sound. Maybe now that'll get that off the screen. And I've got agriculture. Discover planting, plant 10 fruiting trees or plants. View the world from above with them. Okie doke. My dad was from the South, had a lot of very progressive views. Having been in the military and away from East Tennessee, he had seen other places and done other things. And, I kind of took that kind of stuff to heart. And that's probably where I did, got the things that I got. I had an uncle. If he'd been alive in the era of certain news stations, he'd be watching them. That guy was the biggest conspiracy theorist I ever saw. I just happened when I first got married to my first wife live in an area where my uncle lived. And he came to my house one day and tried to get me to sign up for a pyramid scheme. And I just looked at him and went, Gene, my dad always told me those were a bad thing to deal with and not to do it. He said, well, it doesn't hurt to try. And I said, I'm telling you, I wouldn't. And he went his way and I went mine. Uh, Not enough light, can't store. Okay, I can stop all that. However, I better stop every loving bit of it. All right, a few less things that have to be. My dad got a staph infection in his hip joint, which they tried to clear up. Ooh, ooh, that's not good. And as someone who has problems with particularly my left hip, um, that's tough. I'm very sorry to hear that. And I'm sorry I didn't mean to be morbid or talk about family crap. Okay, there's that. Well, that wasn't the best place to put that because I'll have a big dipping hole in my yard. No capable with the digging roll. For as much as I might not like it, I might not have a choice. I wish somebody would build that fire, but that's just me. Okay. His happiness is not happy. I wish I could give him basic hunting. Well, I don't know what they were saying, but it sure did. Like they were speaking right into the. Oh, I got everybody being unhappy. This is not good. Oh, well, I can honestly say I'm not sure if I understand, but I try. Um, I've often said that all this stuff with my back and my shoulder have, have humbled me to the point where, I can't get up. I don't have the physical ability to be an asshole. I might run my mouth at you, but can I back it up? Nope, not at all. It made me slow down and rethink what I was doing. And I was saying something about my wife. That Randy is a very understanding, compassionate person. It wasn't like she broke my arm and said, "Hey, you need to quit being an ass." Although she, at some point said something similar to that. She showed me through, by example. I mean, she taught me a lot, and I told her that one day, and she said, "Well, I wasn't trying to teach you anything." I said, "But you did." You know, um, and that was a good thing. Probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. Just she had a different view on life. Yeah, heck, I grew up poor and in a very frenetic situation. Just, we were never in a good situation. And it was come to find out that my mother always had some sort of drama going on around her. You know, it was this or that or whatever, and had a propensity to gossip. And, I'm not going to BS you. I am my mother's son, and I got to say, the more I play this game, the better I like it. And that looks like a plant, but it is not. Hmm. Well, like I said, if it wasn't for my wife, before things got serious between us, I said, "Would you mind if I went to college? That opportunity might present itself," and it did. She said no, and I got to admit, she worked her backsides off, making sure everything was taken care of while I was. Knut is no longer hungry. So that means she's died, and therefore the problem's been taken care of. Yeah. I don't know. For as much as I feel like I'm a simple-minded human some days, I also feel like I overthink things just, quite by accident. When I first sit down with this game to try to build and what a storage area was and everything, just was like, just wrecked my mind. And I talked to Amp one day in a live stream, and she said, "Are you enjoying Sapiens?" I said, "If you must know the truth, I'm not getting it, and I think it's me." Hmm. I am going to go across to the other side of the world because I'm curious. Stuff over here, just like there's stuff over there. Oh, come on. Get on the ground. I'm a little surprised that none of these people have went for the water. And I kind of figured living right by it would be a good thing, but I also picked an easy tribe. I didn't want to kill myself. Spent my life being way too darn serious, and there's just no reason. And yes, the game sure does place resources far apart, and did I forget something here? Uh, and I still think that I shouldn't have to. I get the feeling this llama is fixing to explode. And I tried to go someplace in this game that wasn't too cold. Heat's easier, in my opinion, to deal with than cold is. Can you replant trees? Not that I know of, but I know that once you take the branches off of them, it will take them a while before you can get branches from them again, but you eventually can. And I still don't know what planting is all about. See what that does. Hmm.
Sina pilin si me? Me
Is it,
pilin pona.
is it just me, or does that look like the everlasting
Sina sona
torch?
ala sona?
Because
Sina
I haven't
pilin si
put
me?
anything back in it. It's been alive pretty much
Mesona.
the whole time since I put it up.
Moku pona.
Uh,
Pilin pona.
oh,
Mesona ala etan. Sina sona ala sona?
Sinne pillen se me.
this is the one who is.
Me pilin pona. Sina pilin si me? Mesona.
Missonalla.
They do have farming tools, but I haven't figured out yet how to make the situation, how to make them. That's just a torch. That's just variations of that. That's just variations of that. You know, one of my agriculture, yes, the miracle torch, absolutely. You know, my agriculture is discover planting. I've discovered
Mesona.
digging, and it says plant 10 fruit trees or plants. Okay, that's great, but, you know, it doesn't really seem to do anything. Rotate, place without issuing a build order. Butchery, your tribe now has the ability to carcass. They can now obtain raw meat. Now you may want to tell it not to eat it just yet.
Missona.
Sina wicked tawe me. Sina sona ala sona?
Sinne pillen se me.
Hey,
Pokupona. Missonalla.
Sina sona ala sona?
no available lit campfire
Persona alla
nearby.
Sina sona ala sona?
Sinne
Me
pillen se
pilin
me.
pona.
Sina pilin si me?
Let me
Sona
try
ala.
something here. Storage area 2x2.
Mokupona. Sina pilin simi.
Me pilin pona. Sina pona ala pona. Sina pilin simi.
6 branches.
Me sona.
Sina wicket tawe
Sina
me.
sona ala sona.
See if I can take down a tree. Nope.
Uweka.
Hmm.
Bona.
Me sona ala etan. Pona. Sina pona ala pona.
Toki.
See if we can get that one down, because it seems to be in the way.
Sina sona ala sona. Me pilin pona. Sina pilin simi.
Misona.
Sina sona ala sona. Moku pona. Sina wicket
I
tawe
can
me.
tell you, I probably will be saying Sona all the time after this game. Ain't
Sina
that
wicket
the
tawe me.
truth?
Sona ala etan.
I almost wish we
Me
could
pilin pona.
Me
turn
sona
off the
ala. Sina pilin
sound of
simi.
their talking and put it
Ime
up
pona.
as a
Pilin
closed
pona.
caption or something.
Me pilin pona.
Because the sound of that is,
Sina wicket tawe me.
you know, you're
Hello,
focusing in on it and
Pilin
it's
pona.
gibberish. I mean,
Sina wicket tawe me.
Sina
or
pilin simi.
maybe I should just build a campfire
Sina sona ala sona.
right there and see if somebody will.
Sona ala etan.
Sina pona ala pona. Mokupona.
Sina pilin simi.
Toki.
Well, somebody's coming to build that.
Marathon.
Me sona ala.
So
Sina sona ala
let's
sona. Pona.
stop that.
Aweka.
Sina wicket tower me.
Misona ala.
Aweka. Me sona.
Remove.
Me pilin pona.
Toki.
Sina
Orchid.
pilin simi.
Sina pona ala pona. Bona. Sina pilin simi. Misona ala.
Sina pona ala pona.
Sina sona ala sona.
Sona ala etan.
Misona ala sona.
Sina wicket tawe me.
Me pilin pona.
Pilin pona.
Sina pona ala pona. Pona.
Let me see here. Gather pine branches. And there is none. Somebody's been assigned to the fire roll. Woohoo! I never played The Sims for as much as I knew what they were and everything. Just never did.
Sina pona ala pona. Me sona ala.
Pona. Aweka.
Can't fill, needs soil. Okay. Well,
Sina
I'm okay
sona
with
ala
that not
sona.
getting done.
Mokupona.
No, I don't want to do that. Tell me, have you been a gamer for, a long time?
Sina pilin simi.
Toki.
Me sona ala.
Me pilin pona.
Mesona. Mesona ala.
Sina wicket tawe me.
Pamea pona.
Sina sona ala sona.
Me pilin pona.
Mesona ala etan.
What is it?
Sina pona ala pona.
Sina pilin si me.
Wool skins.
Sina sona ala
Wool
sona.
skin bed.
Moku pona.
See if we get into fist
Sina
fights.
sona ala sona.
Oh, too steep.
O wika e iki me.
Mesona ala etan. Moku pona.
Sina pona ala pona.
Sona ala itan. Sina wika tawa me.
O wika.
I
Miss
watched
Sona.
a few Sims videos and went, nope.
Mesona ala. Pona.
Himea pona.
Okay, if we need soil to do that, let's just Hey, the fire is lit, so that means I can start investigating
Sona,
that.
Sona. Pilin pona. Toki.
Mesona
Moku pona.
Mesona ala itan. Mesona ala itan.
Himea pona. Wili moku e
Pona.
waso. Taso me yo ale e moku.
Sina pilin si me.
Wili moku e waso. Mesona ala.
Mesona ala etan.
Mesona. Taso me yo
Sina
ale e
pilin si me.
moku. Mesona ala etan.
Pona.
Me wili moku e waso. Mesona ala etan. Me pilin pona.
Sina pona ala pona. Misona ala.
Rock napping
Healing
skills.
Moku pona.
Oh wow, I just found out how to take the HUD off. That's excellent. I was a computer bird back in the early punch card giant printer days. Got into gaming through my nephew and my original Nintendo with Duck Hunt and Zelda. Didn't game much in my 30s. I should have went to college during the punch card days, but I didn't. And so I went in the early 2000s. I was in college from 2001 to 2005. And I learned the Windows side of it all. And I was doing computer work anyway. There were classes I went in that they brought a router to class one day, and I knew more about it than the instructor did. Darn near taught the class. I used to stand up in front of Computer Science 101 classes, which everybody had to take, and I'd ask them, I said, do you think when you send an email that anyone else can read your email? And they'd go, no. Or they'd raise their hand, and I went, whoever administers that system can not only see what you've emailed, or who you've emailed. If I see a subject matter on something that looks suspicious to me as an administrator, I could pull it out of the stack, read your whole email. Well, while I was in the military, I actually had a first sergeant come in with a computer under his arm, and he said, "Can you tell me what's on this computer and what email's been sent in the last 6 months?" Yeah, I can do it. Threw it up on the desk, hooked it up, changed the guy's email password, went through every email he had for almost 2 years, and about 98% of it wasn't work related. It was crazy. I never had an Xbox 360. I started out with an Atari 800 and then went to an Atari 1200, and that was their 8-bit computers on par with the Apple II, and then went up from there. Um, I moved to South Carolina in '87, and while I met a guy that gamed a lot, and we became extremely good friends, and I bought my first 286 shortly after we moved to South Carolina. I got my first computer in December of '84. I walked out of travel pay with $427 and bought the computer for $400. Haven't been without a computer since then, and right now I've got so many of them around me it's hard to talk about. I mean, I've got two at my feet that I use pretty interchangeably back and forth. However, the one I'm on is right now is the best one. It has all the hottest stuff in it. But let me. Oh, baby girl. Rebuild. Build crafting areas. Craft. Okay, I don't want to do any of that, but I do want to.
Sona.
Well, I was going to go down to the beach. Oh,
Miss Sona.
one thing I will say, I disagree with them that somebody would have lived to age 62 when the average age was in their late 30s, as I remember it from going to school. But hey, woohoo! Oh, that's why everything's moving so fast. I've got it in fast forward. You know, at this point, where it says you need a mining tool and you need a pickaxe, it needs to point you in the right direction to get a pickaxe. But what do I know? I was on automation committees at several jobs having to evaluate new library automation systems and train many old school librarians to use computer systems. Too quit though, couldn't change. Oh man, I worked for a small county in South Carolina and we put in a computerized, uh, oh gosh, it wasn't a warrant system. It was a court system and it had all the paperwork from the court that everybody was doing by hand. Um, they would be doing it by computer. Oh man, I went into the office one day and we put this on this girl's computer and I was trying to help her through and I knew just enough to get them on their feet. And we had to sit down with everybody that worked in the court system and we had a family court system and we had a probate court system and things like this. Um, and this one girl, boy, she sat down, she said, I'll just never be able to learn this. And she walked out and, you know, stormed out and everything. She came back, she got her head together, and I just went, we'll get it. Everything is great. Don't sweat the small stuff. We'll get it. The thing of it was, if they were printing warrants, they had one chance to print that warrant. And we could never get them to get that they couldn't print a warrant on an inkjet printer. They had to print the warrants on a laser printer. Just be going, you know, oh my Lord, you've got to be kidding me. And somebody asked me one day, why can't we print a warrant on an inkjet printer? I've got one sitting on my desk. I said, because if you're walking down the hall and somebody runs into you with a drink, you've just wiped all of the all of the words on that page off with that liquid. I said, it'll wipe it clean. You have one chance to print that thing. And if they goofed, we had to pick the phone up and call the state at the state capitol 45 or 50 minutes away and go, hey, I need to redo this warrant. Give them the warrant number and they could reset it in the system, but it wasn't something they liked to do, but we had just got it done. Yeah, at the time I met the sitting head of the South Carolina Supreme Court, who was, you know, I didn't know who she was at the time, but yeah, they sat down and said, oh, you didn't know who that was? Nope. I said, well, that was so-and-so. She's the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Okay, now I know. And hardware is not a lot of people's thing, but hardware speaks to me. You know, it's something, I buy it broke for pennies on the dollar and then turn around and fix it. I have a broke firewall sitting here in front of me that I tried to fix and couldn't, and I had to turn around and buy another one. Is it still here? Yes, it's holding up my monitor. It makes everything at the same level. Interesting. I would never thought about the ink impact. Yeah, it was, we just had to drive it in them. Gosh, I remember I went to one woman's desk one day and she was in the clerk of court's office and was, you know, doing stuff and couldn't get stuff to print or something. And I went to something a different way than she did. And I thought I was going to have to pick that woman up off the floor. She darn near fainted. She had been a housewife all her life and her husband left her. And she had never been in the workaday world, and going to work for the county was literally her first job. Oh man, it was crazy. Well, oh my God, how did you do that? I said, there's more than one way to skin a cat. We'll get there. I promise you, everything is fine. I've been doing this for a long time. It was definitely different. Yeah, that was a big institutional change going to computers from a hand-wrought system. And I can't tell you how many people went, well, I just can't write that out. Nope. It's no longer in the system anymore. You can't input it in the system once you write it out. The system is totally different. And boy, they really had, it was, had a child very hungry. Hmm, I see. Wow, that rain sound is a pain in the butt. But you've got to turn it off. Let me see.
Missona alla. Missona. Missona alla ettan. Missona alla ettan. Missona alla. Missona alla. Missona. Missona alla ettan.
That
Missona alla.
excuse me. When I move that sound volume slider, when I stop, and chicken clucks, that's too much. Gosh, if I was smart enough, I'd get a copy of that, get a sample of it. That's too funny. That is the adjustment noise. Boy, I'm glad I turned the music down. Wow, but I could have a little too much fun playing with that for far too long. Yeah, well. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not crazy, just merely foolish. And as I look down, I've been doing this for an hour and 21 minutes. And we've got other stuff fixing to go on because we're going to go see the grandkids this morning, so I will not be an AMP stream. And so, yes, it would be a fun jump scare for Grass. I think I need to almost tell him that in Discord. Gosh, that's too funny. But I think I'm going to end this here because I've just got other things that are pressing. Well, not quite yet, but yeah, grandbabies. It's only going to be one, though. The other one's going to be at school. We were supposed to go down Thursday, and my wife had a beauty shop appointment, I guess is what you'd call it, when we were kids. She went to get her hair done, and it turned out wonderfully. It looks beautiful. And Tuesdays and Thursdays are when both the grandkids are home. And when we said, well, we're not going to be able to come down Thursday, we'll come down next Tuesday, and our daughter wrote her back and said, can you come down Friday? I really think she's wanting some adult company. And she's my stepdaughter, but I love the stuffings out of that girl. She's she's been too good to me. You know, welcomed me into the family like I'd been there the whole time. Uh, she's been very, very good. But I am going to end this. Let me see, how do I get out of here? Well, for one, let's go to exit and go to main menu. I have to admit, the whole menu thing is pretty cool in this game. Yeah, adult time is often needed. Shaman, it's always good to talk to you. Um, it it means the world to me that you've taken your time to come sit and listen to an old man gab. And I appreciate it, and I want you to know that. All right. Um, See you when I see you. I appreciate you talking to me as well. I'll probably be back about the 2 o'clock hour and see what happens. I have to admit, yesterday's 2 o'clock hour from Andreas was really good. And I'm not a big 7 Days to Die fan. I don't like horror. But all right, we'll catch you when we catch you. Thank you very much. Bye bye.